Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you're here with us live or whether you are tuning in later at your own time. We appreciate you being here. Welcome. We are starting a new series today. This is a familiar one. We did this last year, but we got a lot of requests because there have been so many changes here. And Mr. Ricinos, please let me know. We have been having fun with my Wi-Fi right now. So if you don't hear me, please call me on the side. All right. So everyone, we are going to be going over Learning Accelerators, episode 1, AI and Foundational Skills. So if you have never heard of Learning Accelerators, you're in for a treat because these are so useful and these tools are amazing and we don't know how we lived without them. And some of you might actually already be using them and you didn't even know that there were more learning accelerators out there. But before we continue, as always, we want to introduce ourselves. My name is Teresa Castro.
And I am Ricardo Recinos. And before we start, I'm going to apologize for my tech today. I am actually counting my blessings that I made it into this show today because nothing is working. So just, even before we start, we're going to try.
Oh, Ricardo, I think teachers understand how that feels to not have tech work for you. So thank you for being so kind, everyone. Our tech is all over, but it's okay. We're going to do our best because this topic speaks for itself. But before we continue, as always, we want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank CTA, our HLPTA, our ILC, and of course, the district where we come from, HLPUSD. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share these great tools with teachers all over the world. So let's go ahead and begin.
Sure. And here we go. There we go. See, I'm telling you, today is going to be that day. Here it goes. And before we start, I know it's going to be one of those days. Before we start, we definitely have to say thank you to a lot of people at Microsoft, but specifically Mike Tolson, who is incredible, such a great resource to us. We've been going back and forward as we prepare for this episode today, and the amount of resources that he has provided, the amount of support, is just, we are very blessed to have him in our corner. If you don't know Mike Tolson and his 1 million followers over TikTok, YouTube, and everywhere else, he is everywhere. He is on Twitter, he is on YouTube, he is on TikTok. And honestly, everything I know about Microsoft Accelerators, I learned it from him, being honest.
And we thank him so much for his generosity because with his blessing, we're able to share all these cool new tricks with you and those things that may not even be fully released yet. So we're super excited to share that with you. And if you're not following him, please follow him because he is a wealth of knowledge. Okay, so let's go. And I see everyone trickling in. Thank you so much for being with us live, you guys. If you can give us some love, I'd appreciate it. We need some extra boost today because we're really scared our tech is going to fail us today, but it's all right. The show must go on, right? Okay, so these are the things that we want to focus on today. We want to focus on learning accelerators. And first, we're going to go over what it is, why we need them, and how we can actually use them. Thank you for the hearts. I meant that literally. Thank you, guys. And so today we're going to be focusing on the foundational skills. And then in our next episode, we're going to be talking about our future ready skills. And then we're also going to take you into the insights as well, because it's very powerful to be able to use your data to guide your instruction and to guide our students in what we assign for them. So anyways, these are all AI powered solutions. And anyways,
traditional reading assessments were
I hear
Go ahead.
playing something.
No, not
All right.
yet.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on and get to know what these learning accelerators are. So what is a learning accelerator? It's a new category of learning tools. They've been around, a few months now, right, Ricardo? Some of them you've already introduced in years past, I think. But now they fall under this category called learning accelerators. And it's a new category of learning tools included in Microsoft 365 for education that help streamline the creation, review, and analysis of practice assignments while providing students real-time coaching along the way to catch up, keep up, and get ahead. So that was a lot of words. And the things that stood out to me, the reason why I said we need to do an episode on learning accelerators, and this is our second time around, because these are real-time coaching. And I know teachers, we do our job, we do our best to help all of our students, regardless of what level they are, but these are our best friends because they can actually do a lot of the work for us, and it can help us reach every student. And if that's what you want to do, you're going to want to know these tools. Okay.
And as Teresa said, we're focusing on foundational skills on our episode today. Later on, we'll do the future ready and also our last episode on insights. And we were going to play 3 different videos, but I really, we don't like to usually play videos. So instead of that, and because of our tech, we're going to play one video that is going to give you an idea of what learning accelerators are. Okay. And we won't play it all, but we're going to kind of just give you an idea with video. Here it goes.
Traditional reading assessments were clunky, they were time consuming, and they weren't always accurate, and they just ate up so much time.
We are extending our learning tools by adding an important new category called Learning Accelerators. Learning Accelerators help students advance foundational skills, as well as develop future-ready skills to better prepare them for success in college, career, and life.
It's like there are 20 extra teachers in one classroom. It's very easy to use. It works.
What's amazing about reading progress when it comes to data is that data is immediate. A student can hand in and turn in one of their reads, and I can immediately sit down with them and we can look at that read, look at the words they missed, their repetitions, their admissions, their insertions.
It identifies words that students may struggle with and provides additional support. So this frees up the teacher to work with other students.
Speaker Coach is one of those tools that kind of was a light bulb tool for a lot of students that I've worked with. Being able to have the ability to practice and get real-time feedback is where Speaker Coach really comes in and helps our students and even helps us as adults.
Search Coach really does surface the tools and the information that our students need to make well-educated decisions around the validity of the results that they're being presented with.
The Reflect app allows the students the opportunity to be self-aware of how they're currently feeling in that learning space. And that allows me the power and the privilege to pivot my lesson in response to what I'm seeing.
When we invest in dyslexic learners in schools, it's not just about remediating challenges, it's also preparing our future workforce to solve the problems of tomorrow.
When we can see what it is they're struggling with, our teachers can intervene and provide that additional support. When students get what they need when they need it, I believe that they can progress faster, and that's what we want in the end.
Microsoft Reading Progress can help develop their reading proficiency for them to be able to compete for jobs.
We want to make sure that all of our students leave schools as confident and capable readers, that they can engage with school and with the world beyond school. It's a necessity for us as a system, and it will help us in terms of a city and a global community.
We believe that learning accelerators can unlock the full potential of every student, giving them opportunities to learn, practice, and receive instant feedback in an inclusive and trusted environment.
And I'm super excited to cover the foundational skill ones today. And later on, we'll cover the future ready and also the insights.
All right, so he did decide to play the whole thing, but that's a good overview for today and for our next episode as well. So let's go on to the next slide. So why are we doing learning accelerators, and why should we do them? So a lot of teachers feel this when they're in the classroom. I don't have time, I can't reach all my kids, and I have too much on my plate. And those are things that learning accelerators help us address. You don't have time. This helps you by grading it for you. I remember sitting in my small little table with kids around, and I'm listening to them reading. I'm doing running records and crossing out words they're missing, and I have to transfer that over to something else to see what kind of phonemes and all this stuff. But the student just reads it, it grades it immediately. Anyways, you'll see how great it is, but I just remember all that time that I would have saved, and I can't reach them all. All my students are able to work at all different levels with these tools, and I have too much on my plate. This again, we heard another teacher saying it feels like there's 20 teachers in the room instead of you by yourself doing everything. So you won't know until you try. So let's continue.
And I always say this, right? I'm willing to take on a new thing on my plate if it's going to take several things off my plate, and Learning Accelerators definitely does that for us.
And another why, from our students' point of view, I can't focus. I am bored, I can't read, or I can't do math. You can replace that with pretty much anything here, right? But our foundational skills today, we're going to be focusing on the reading and the math, and of course the SEL as well. So with these tools, we've seen our students, we've gone into the classrooms and we've seen they are fully engaged. It's kind of like a game. It's almost fun for them to actually do it and see how they did. And they get that immediate feedback. And the coach practices with them right away without waiting for the teacher to return the assignment. So it's easier to focus. They're not bored, and it helps them with their reading. It helps them with their basic skills like math as well.
Yeah, and as the learning accelerators evolve with the support and the integration of artificial intelligence, we're also seeing how student agency is coming into play and also student choice. We're going to show a little bit of that today, but it's incredible for our students to have a choice when it comes to their learning.
So why? We talked about that. So why learning accelerators? And here's what it does for us. For our students, it's real-time coaching. It's not waiting for you to read and see how they did and then giving the paper back to them. And now you can kind of talk to them, interact with them. It's not waiting for that turnaround. It's immediately. As soon as they're done reading, a coach comes in and tells them, here are the things that you can work on based on the reading that you just did right now. It's inclusive by design, meaning everyone is getting what they need. Everyone is being met where they are. So we don't have those kids who are finished before everyone else and have nothing else to do. And we don't have those kids who are super struggling and can't even get through the assignment. Okay, so it adapts, to your students. And for the educators, it saves time, like I said, and it's actionable insight. So when you're done, you do get that data afterwards. So you could see, all right, these are where we need to focus in class. These are where I could focus my assignments. And it also can create those for you. So we might get into that conversation today as well. All right, so again, why? Here's our last why. Why learning accelerators? And so we know the pandemic, it feels like it's been a while back, but you know what? We're still feeling the effects of having our kids not in school for that long. And there's a 30% learning loss in reading. I know our teachers can relate to that. And you might even say, no, it's worse than that, right? But the fact is, fluent readers are 4 times more likely to graduate high school and get better jobs. So we're not saying you're going to be able to fill that gap that was created over these last few years. But you know what? We have to try. We still have to teach them how to read. We can't just say, oh, forget it, and we'll just wait for the next batch of kids. That's not how it works, right? So we need to make sure, and these tools help us. These tools will help our kids. And so for 35% learning loss in math. Wow, right? And I know my team is always talking about that data coming through saying, oh, my gosh, our scores really have gone down in math, but what can we do? How can we move them? Okay, so students who pass Algebra 1 by 9th grade are more likely to earn a bachelor's degree, I'm sorry for all the typos, in any major and go on to a well-paid career. If they fail the course, they only have a 1 in 5 chance of graduating from high school. 1 in 5 chance. So out of that many kids, only one? Really, that will graduate from high school if they don't pass this class. And that's why they need these supports. We can't let them fall through the cracks. We can't. So we need to make sure that we're using tools like this so that they can advocate for themselves and help themselves in acquiring these basic skills, right? So
Yeah, and reading plays a part in everything they do, right? If they can read, obviously they're not going to be able to do well in a math class, in a science class, right, in a social science class. So we definitely have to make sure that we are
right.
touching that.
And so we heard this from the same teacher. I think we saw him on the video. It's just like having 20 extra teachers in one classroom, and it can all be managed with just a few clicks. It's easy to use, and it's rewarding for teachers and students, like we see every day in our class, and it works. And we do have teachers in our district using it, and they're using it faithfully because they see the difference it has made for our students. So hopefully you get to try it after today's episode if you haven't already. All right, so how? So here are the tools that we're going to go over today. We can't go through we can spend episodes just on one tool, but we're just going to talk to you about it briefly because we're going to send you to other episodes that we've done this before, but there have been episodes, there have been updates, so we're probably going to get to that again in the future. But for now, you'll just get a taste of what these are, and maybe you'll get curious and you'll go out there and research them yourself. So for reading, we have Reading Progress and Reading Coach, and also
Immersive Reader.
Immersive Reader as well, which we'll be going over. And
did you want me to move on? Next one?
Sure.
Sorry.
Or add if you want to speak to, Ricardo. That's okay.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
And well-being, we know reading and math so important, but if our students are not taken care of emotionally, they're not going to be there for the reading and the math. They're not going to understand or have the capacity, right? So well-being, so reflect helps us check on our students regularly and see how they're doing. It gives them a safe space to able to express, and gives them the vocabulary they need to explain what they're feeling, and kind of have those conversations with you, right?
Yeah, we always talk about making those connections, right, and creating those relationships with our students, right? And I think Reflect is a great way that is going to lead to our students being able to participate in those reading exercises or those math exercises, but always the well-being is the most important part.
Yeah, Maslow before Bloom, right? We
Yep.
always hear that over and over and over. So we need
Mhm.
to make sure that they're okay. Math as well. So Ricardo, you want to talk about this one real quick?
Oh, yes. So this tool to me is incredible. I use it all the time with my daughter to help her support with homework, and we're gonna see it inside of OneNote. But we know that it's also coming into our learning accelerators inside of Microsoft Teams eventually. So we're really looking forward to that.
All right. So I think it's time. We tried to shorten our intro, everyone, if you haven't noticed that. Those of you who have been watching us, we're like, we need to stop talking and get straight to the to the demonstration. So that was the best we could do.
Yeah, so we're gonna start with Reflect, and this past early, I think like late summer, early fall, Microsoft actually came up with Reflect outside of Microsoft Teams. So if your district has an E3 or E5 plan, you actually have the ability to use this outside of Teams. Let's say that maybe you use Canvas or Google Classroom, whatever it might be outside of Teams. You still have the ability to use something like Reflect outside. All you would need to do is go to reflectmicrosoft.com app, and I'm going to put this on the chat so you can actually get access to that right now. And once you are there, again, you would just have to log in with your Microsoft credentials. And when you are there, you have the ability to do a couple of things. The first one will be to do a new check-in, okay? Again, without having to go inside of Teams. So I can come in here and do a new check-in. And when I click on it, I have some options. I can say, how are you feeling today, right? Just to check on the students. Overall, how did this week feel for you? And I also have the ability to do my own check-ins. How are you feeling about the test that we took last week, or about the test that we're going to take on Friday? And I love this new option right here that explores check-in ideas. So if I click on it, it's going to give me a lot of different ideas for student well-being, whether it be general, social, instructional, environmental, and the learning cycle, and also for educational well-being. I can open that and give me more ideas of different types of check-ins that I can use with my students. So having that right there, it's pretty amazing. Okay, so if I came in here and I just said, how are you feeling today? I can preview what it's going to look like, okay? But I can just create a check-in. And it's going to create it. And now I have the ability to share a QR code or a link with my students. So if I wanted to share it inside of an LMS, so just provide it for my students, I can do it, and the students will be able to answer, and I will get that data right on the spot, just so you know, okay? So that's the way it's going to look. What I love about this new app on the browser app, that to the right, we also have a couple of class activities in here, the ability to just take a second and do some breathing exercises. And is it okay if I show it, Teresa, really quick?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go in that one right now, and I'm going to click on it, and notice that our amazing feelings monster is going to show up. And if I play it, so think about our students, right? Self-agency, self-efficacy, and just to basically breathe before they start doing something. And here he comes. So taking 5 more breaths, right? So I'm going to put the volume
Is
up.
your sound on? Oh, there you go.
It's on. And he leads you, so hold your breath, right? And then let it out. We'll do 2. And you will go through the 5 breathing exercises, right? That he is the cutest thing ever, right? I know we call him the feelings monster, but eventually we have to like give him a name. You also have
monster. That's his name.
Stretch break. No, we have to give him Hacienda La Puente Unify's name.
Oh my goodness.
Stretch breaks too, right? So I come in here and it's going to tell you what to do. So stand with your feet shoulder apart. So if we can do this, Teresa, we can kind of do that.
Yes,
So,
I will watch you do it.
So here he goes. And he's going to tell you what to do. Right? Oh, that feels good.
I remember going into classes where the kids just came in from recess and the teachers were having them kind of do some of these exercises, and that was before we knew about the feelings monster.
Right? And it will get you through those stretching exercises. So just pretty incredible to have the ability to do that. Our students can do it as a class, or they can do it on their own. And there's also an educator toolkit that is right here that Teresa is going to talk about a little bit in a second. I also, as I was looking at this, I discovered this amazing concentration game for the kids where they actually go in before they start, right? There's kind of like have to match, right? So remembering where things are, and as they're going through them, they kind of try to figure out where the different monsters are. So I love having the ability to use it outside of teams, but you do have the ability to use it inside of teams, which is very, very powerful. Go ahead, Teresa.
All right, so I'm going to show you from a student point of view inside of Teams. So Ricardo, if you can share my screen, that would be great. And so here I am. I just went straight to reflect. There's so many different ways, but just so you know, in here, I could see my previous check-ins and see how I did. Just like what Ricardo just showed you right now, I can do this for myself. So if you teach your students, sometimes you have the students who are just, and you teach them to self-assess and kind of know when they might need a little break of their own. They can go in here and they can do it themselves if you allow them to in class. And so take a breath, stretch break. We also have something called coloring book. Ricardo, do you want me to try it? My internet's been kind of crazy, but I can
Sure, let's try it. Why not? I want to see it.
Oops, just kidding. Okay, so I'm going to click on it. Oh, wait, is there more? There's more, like the one you just did.
The memory game I just showed, right?
So here it says let go random, or it says let's color. So it's kind of cool. It's just
this is all brand new.
Oh, I love it.
Baby
I got all
monster.
happy because I thought it was gonna judge me on my coloring skills, but you just simply choose the color and it does the object. So I felt super happy to not have that pressure. I love it. That was super fun. Okay, so it's just, I'm done, reset, change picture. Just a great way for them to relax and refocus. And we have a whole episode on that too, different ways to kind of get your kids back to you, whether they have too much energy, not enough energy, or they're super distracted. So just great tools. And so now I have to reload again. I'm sorry, Ricardo, that's what I was talking about.
It's okay.
All right, so those tools are there for them to use on their own, but I want you to see what it looks like when someone assigns it to me. So it's going to take a bit. I'm going to reload one more time. That's what I was worried, but that's okay. We're just going to go with it today. We already expect it at this point. So when your teacher assigns it to you as a student, you can see it in your general feed. That's one way to go. And you can answer the question, whatever he asked, on how you're feeling.
Do you want me to show it?
I'm going to.
Here it goes. You can leave me to it. Go ahead.
Let me try one more. I'm going to try one more just because I think it's this one. There we go. Do I have any assignments? Is this the one for this class?
For reflect?
Yeah. I was in reflect. I thought this was the class where I had it all assigned. Let me see. Okay, so here are different ones that I did, different ways that I chose how I felt. Can I do it from here, Mr. Racina, so that I don't have to... Actually, am I a teacher in here?
You're a student in there, and that's what you're showing.
I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, go ahead and show it from yours, because for some reason it's not pulling up on mine. It should be in my general.
Here it is. You should be in a student A for your class. You're a student on this one.
Okay.
So here it is, right, from the teacher point of view, and I'll just click whatever you need me to click. Go ahead.
All right. Are we showing the teacher point of view now? Are you doing the teacher now?
I'm not sure what you want to do.
It's okay. No, I was trying to show them the student point of view where they click on it and it shows them the different emotions when they go to it. But for a teacher, because Ricardo's the teacher of this class and I'm the student, for some reason it's not pulling up for me. So there you go. There you go. This is what I was looking for earlier. Sorry, everybody. Thank you. So go ahead and click on any of the emotions for me, Ricardo, since you're on there. So students see this very simple, and then from there you get the vocabulary. So he chose that kind of like neutral smiley face. So go ahead and hover over any of them, Ricardo. And then if your volume was on, if he actually had it playing, it would read it for you, and it actually reads it for you. That it
Cheerful,
matches the emotion.
uplifting, and joyful.
Yes. And so if you
Curious.
chose,
Interested in learning or discovering something.
can you choose maybe one of the red emotions to see what
Mm-hmm.
that sounds like?
Worthless. Feeling unappreciated or in the way.
So if you could see,
Lonely.
even the voice goes along with the emotion. And so this is a great conversation to have with our kids, because our kids have the emotions. They just don't have the vocabulary to express themselves. So we talked to teachers and they said, my kids do this every Monday, or they do this every day. And then those kids who are super shy, who don't usually participate or don't usually volunteer to tell you how they're doing. They're not the ones that are doing this all the time. It's a safe place for them to tell you how they're doing. And so teachers have said, no, I've been able to, I notice some kids, on Mondays, they feel a certain way, and I've been able to pull them aside, just one-on-one and be like, how are you doing? And it's something they would have never noticed if they didn't have a tool like this. That's why it's so super important to use any tools really that check on their social and emotional well-being. But this tool is just so easy to use, and it also carries the data. So you can see over time how the students are doing. Maybe they get super stressed on Mondays. Maybe they're super stressed on test days, right? Ricardo, what did that one teacher say about, she was asking them something about?
Yeah, I remember one of our Spanish teachers, they had a hard week, and on Friday, she actually used Reflect, and she said, how are we feeling about the test today, right? And she noticed that her students, based on what they said and how they felt on Reflect, she decided to change the test date, and, and she thinks that was the right move for the kids, because at the time they weren't ready for that test. And they were honest. It wasn't like they were trying to get out of taking the test because she knows her class. They were just very honest. And at the time, it wasn't the right time to give that test.
Yeah, so it's always really important to have that open communication with your kids, and to know, for them to know that you care, right? Just asking how they're doing, knowing, and, they know that you read it and that you are checking on them. And so anyways, I can go on and on about that. But again, this is just a great tool that you could use inside of teams and outside of teams.
And I think Teresa mentioned that, when you do it with fidelity and consistency, right? Your kids take it really seriously, and they actually tell you exactly how they feel. What I love the most is my daughter has a lot of issues trying to identify feelings. So to be able to, as you said, Teresa, to be able to come in here and look at some of these words and listen to them,
Focused.
and she can say,
Engaged.
oh, that's exactly what the feeling that I'm having. And she can actually learn the vocabulary, the social emotional learning vocabulary that she needs to express how she's feeling, right? Like,
Miserable.
it's just such an amazing tool to me.
So that was Reflect inside of Teams. Did we want to show them Reflect in OneNote?
There's one more place where it's available too if you use class notebooks, with OneNote, which is such a powerful tool. And you use your class notebooks, you have the ability to set a Reflect right in here. And when you open it, it's going to open and say, what kind of Reflect do you want to send to your students, right? So this is the teacher OneNote, and it's going to open their notebooks. And again, our internet is having fun, but here it goes. What kind of Reflect do you want to send, right? What would you like students to reflect on? Their confidence to succeed, their motivation to learn, understanding of content. A lot of our high school teachers use OneNote, and notice that the question's a little bit more mature, right? And I have the ability to come in here and pick something and say a check-in, when does it due? And I would add it, and the students will be able to see it and be able to answer that check-in that I'm sending. And also the data is there. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, so many different places where you could use this one tool. And once students become familiar with it, they know exactly what they need to do. So very cool.
There's also a great playlist that Microsoft have put together with different scenarios, whether it be like naming disappointment, trying to help our students, right, or feeling overwhelmed or feeling tired. And the monsters, it's just such a great job they've done with it, and they're available for you to use. We've used some of these videos with our students to be able to express feelings. So I'm also going to put that playlist on the chat so you have access to that. It's going to be right there. So also pretty incredible videos right there.
And you might think like, my kids are too young for this maybe. But we actually did these videos with even a kinder class. So, you're able to stop and have a conversation about them. Okay, this just happened. How do you think they're feeling at this time? And our kids are so intuitive. They're so smart. So it's really great to kind of introduce the feelings monster and the emotions this way before they start to actually use it regularly. So we've done that with some of our kids. Very
Yeah,
cool. Very
there's a brand new one that just came out, a new video that I told you today. I'm gonna use it with my daughter, right? If you remember, because I
Aw,
thought,
yeah,
like how she sees
got it.
herself and how she perceives herself
Yeah.
through the feelings monsters. It's just pretty incredible to see it. So that was Reflect when it comes to social emotional learning and making sure that we are checking on the well-being of our students. We're gonna move on now to another foundational skills learning accelerator called Immersive Reader. And you probably are aware of Immersive Reader and you've probably seen it, but I think we do have to touch it again because there's a couple of new tools inside of Immersive Reader that we're going to touch on today. Immersive Reader is available on almost every Microsoft product,
Yes.
along with other places. If you use something like Pear Deck, it's available there. If you use Canvas, it's available there, and so many other platforms that use it because it's such a great tool for our students. Not just a student that might have issues with reading or need support with reading, but what about that English language learner student that also might want to use this, right? We won't go through the whole thing, but I just have a document open right here. And notice that if I go to view, I have the ability to use Immersive Reader. And this little open book with the microphone, it's actually the Immersive Reader icon. You're going to
The
see it
kids know what it
everywhere.
is. Yeah.
The
When they
kids
spot it, they're like,
know.
immersive readers there.
So the kids know exactly where it is. But if I click on it, it's going to take this text right here that I have, and it's going to turn it into something completely different. Okay, I know we don't have a lot of time to go over everything, but you notice that I already put it in a blue color because it's easier for me to read in this particular color. The ability to have it read
When I
for
was in
me,
fourth grade,
the ability to have it read a little bit faster or slower. So not just a student that wants to read it slower, but also someone that might want to have it read faster, right? Male or female, right? There's some great tools in here for text preference that I will not go over everything, but making it bigger, right? Changing the font, the colors. In here for our little ones, right? And for us, for English language learners, the parts of speech to be able to just turn them on by just clicking, right? And being able to see verbs and nouns. Syllabus, we saw that too. My favorite option is the third one with the book, especially for my daughters, the line focus to be able to focus as you are reading, right? The picture dictionary is on. If I kind of go over somewhere and I click on it, it's going to be a picture dictionary for you. And notice that I have it in Spanish and English, right? So I actually have it available in both languages. And finally, the best part of it, the ability to translate something into a different language entirely and being able to compare, right? So now, again, formal support, I have the original text, and right next to it, I have the one in Spanish. And if you have not noticed, there's something brand new in the bottom called Reading Coach that we're not going to touch yet because we want to talk about what Reading Coach is before we come back to this and we touch it, okay? So that was Immersive Reader inside of Word right here. Just before, I know Teresa's going to talk about it on Edge right now, so we're going to switch screens so she can show it right there for you. So go ahead, Teresa.
So like what Ricardo said, once you know what this symbol looks like, you'll see it all over the place. You're like, oh, that's what they're talking about. Now it's all over the place. And our kids know. So here I am in Edge. I don't have to do an extension. If you're on Google, you could also do it, but you do have to do an extension for it. But here it's built in.
So just use Edge.
Or just use it. It's here at the very top. So here I am on, I'm always at the Aquarium of the Pacific side. I just love it so much. Okay, so I'm going to click on that right here and see what happens. In essence, it's the same thing that Ricardo had talked about, but look up here, I can have it read aloud. I have my different text preferences, reading preferences. It's the same tools that Ricardo was talking about, but here I am. I'm on an actual browser. I didn't have to type this out. I didn't have to download it and put it, copy and paste it into a document so my kids could use the tool. It's already in there for them. So I could have them research and be able to they can use these tools for themselves. They can advocate for themselves. And what was great is even showing parents how to use these. We have parents who want to follow along with kids, but maybe they don't have time to read everything, but they want to be able to listen to it while they're doing their chores or something. They can go ahead and have it read aloud and they can listen, things like that. So, so very awesome that I was really excited to be able to do it in the browser. Because I remember before, if I wanted the kids to do any sort of things like this, I'd have to copy it, paste it, move it somewhere else, upload it somewhere, and they don't have to do that at all. So again, super easy. It's here in the Edge, it's built in right there. And if you don't see it, some people are like, I can't see it. It's usually, you have to actually be in a site, not just in the search, in your search. Sometimes it doesn't work right there, but
yeah, it's already there. There's nothing that you need to do. But we do understand this. A lot of us, I'm not going to say a lot of us, a lot of you, love Chrome. And that's the browser that you use. And there is an extension that you can actually add to your Chrome browser. It's called Read Text on this page. I'll put the link up. A little bit different. So notice that I actually, to use Immersive Reader in Chrome, I actually have to select what I want to have read to me. So I have to go in here and select something, and then I have to right click. Once the extension has been installed, I right click and I say, help me read this. And when I click on help me read this, it's going to look at that, and it's going to open Immersive Reader with that extension that was created, and it's going to look at it, says waiting for connection, but it will basically open it up in the same Immersive Reader format that we saw a second ago. That's how you would use it, and it looks like it's not working. Oh, there we go. Well, it didn't do it, did it? Let's try it again. And I know my Chrome browser has been having a lot of trouble, so it might be that is that, but you will be able to basically see the Immersive Reader option. It looked the same, basically. So that is Immersive Reader, such a great tool.
Mr. Rosinas, can you show them my screen one more time? I just wanted to, because every time we do this training, we get at least half of the teachers who are like, I can't find it. And I promise you. So if you just go to search, you don't see it. It's not there. You have to actually click on an actual site, a site that actually has text on it to actually use Immersive Reader with, and give it a moment, and then you can see it pop up. I had to bring that up because we might have some viewers who are watching this later and they're like, you're lying. I don't see it. It's not working. It's because you have to actually click on a site with text for it to work. It's every training it's happened. Just checking.
Just give it a second and it shows up. Exactly. It just shows up. Some people ask, can I find it on our LMS? Yes, in Canvas. It is available in Canvas. So I'm on a page on Canvas, and notice that by default, it shows up here. Again, our students get used to seeing the little book with the microphone. If I can come in here and click it, it's going to take this writing right here, and it's going to open Immersive Reader, and it's going to do exactly the same thing that we've shown you. Notice this might look familiar to you. Again, having the ability to use Immersive Reader inside of Canvas is also there for you. Okay? So that was Reflect, and that was Immersive Reader to support our students. And I think now we're going to move to Reading Progress, correct?
Yes, while my Teams is loading again, it's taking a while. Did you want to show it to them in Flip? If not, I think it's almost, my thing is almost there.
Yes, so yeah, I can try to log into Flip. Hopefully my computer decides to go in. But here I am in Flip, and I have a topic that I'm going to click on it, and to support our students to be able to complete this right here. If I came in here and I wanted to use Immersive Reader, it should show up for me. Where did it go? Do you see it in here?
It's for the students when I just saw it earlier.
So here we go, student view. Yeah, it should show up for me. I should be able to see it right here. Let me go to a different, maybe a different assignment right here. But for our student view, if I had a student view right now, if I went in here and I opened it,
it would be the same logo.
It would be right there to be, the same logo will be right here for a student view. How come I don't have student view right here?
There it is, right there. Immersive Reader, right there.
Oh, he goes, here it is. Yeah, it should be showing up, and you can click it, and it's going to basically open the instructions that the teacher gave on the topic to be able to read it.
So if you have those non-readers, or maybe those language learners who don't understand your prompt, but you want them to participate, they rely on a tool like Immersive Reader so that they could be part of it. They don't just look at the words and like, I can't read that, forget about it. So a very cool tool. All right, so now we wanted to talk to you about something amazing that we have seen our teachers use. Gosh, how many years has it been now, Ricardo? It feels like a long time, but it hasn't been, huh? Reading Progress. And so we've seen our teachers just fly in using this with their kids. And let's go ahead and show you what it is. You kind of saw a sample already earlier. So here I am. I'm in my team right here. I went to assignments, and I'm going to create an assignment right now. And I'm just going to create a new one. I'm going to cross my fingers that my internet kind of improves right now. Here we go. All right, so there are two places we can go. Usually before, I used to go to Attach, and I would do a Reading Progress assignment there. So you can do that if you want, or you can go straight to Learning Accelerators now that you know what they are, because you're cool now, extra cool. So you can go here to Reading Progress. It's the same thing in essence.
And as they keep adding more and more, they're all going to be right there. Yeah,
they do. So down here, you have the ability to import your own. So if you have some readings that you already have, or maybe you have weekly readings that go along with your text, your stories with your curriculum, you can upload them here in Word and also PDF, which is pretty cool. You can also, this is new right here, generate reading passages. I'm just going to click it so that you can see what it does. And it's pretty cool. You can choose the topic. Maybe your kids are super into animals right now, so you could choose animals. You could choose what age. This is not grade. This is what age your students are. And they've been pretty close. They've been getting better and better. Sometimes I like to choose an age younger than my kids to start with, just to see kind of where they are. How many words do you want it to be? And also what language. And then you could click this and it'll actually generate the passage for you. And then you can still go in there and edit it if you want. Okay, but I'm not going to do that one because Ricardo, do all of them have that now?
So that is something that it is coming soon. You probably do not have the option to use the artificial intelligence to generate a passage for artificial intelligence yet. We did get the permission to show it today. We're so thankful again to Mike to be able to show you that. We're actually will go in there in a second so you can see what else it does for you. But it's incredible and it's coming, and it is just, think about, you know your class, right? And a lot of your class at the time is into astronauts, right? So now you can decide that you're going to use that particular topic, right, to do the reading passage. It's pretty incredible.
Cool. But here we are where all of you will have this one, Browse Sample Library. So if you don't have a text to put in, you could simply just choose, and this one is by grade. So I always suggest the first time you do it, go a grade down, but you don't have to. You can just test it out. I select my grade, and I can go down here and I select different things. I could preview it first if I want to see what it is. It also tells me the Lexile level. So if I'm just starting, I might want to choose something a little bit easier. For my kids, I could choose what's a bird. I'm just going to select it for the sake of this exercise. I'm going to select. Here we are. It gives me a sample of what it is. I can click here to see what student view looks like. It's basically just a blank sheet with the words so that they can read it. The reading level, how many attempts I want to give them. Ricardo has always told me 2 is good, maybe 1 for practice, and then the next one after that, they're done. Because if we give them, maybe the first time you want to give them unlimited, but if you do that every time, they will do it over and over and over because our kids are perfectionists and they want to keep fixing it. Okay, so 2 is good. I agree with that. And the time limit, how long you want it to actually record the data for them. Pronunciation sensitivity. If you have maybe language learners or maybe younger students, you want it to be less sensitive so it doesn't create mistakes where they really aren't there. Or maybe you want it more sensitive. So maybe it's for a class, in high school or college or something. All right, so reading coach, we want that to be turned on. That's entirely up to you. If you don't know what it is, it identifies students' 5 most challenging words and provides support for their independent practice. So when the student is done reading, it will tell them, here are 5 major words that you missed. Let's practice them together. And Ricardo, are we going to have time to show that to them today?
We'll try if you want to. Yeah, we'll try.
Great. So we'll try, and if not, we'll talk to you more about what it is. I like to have that on because when the student is done, I don't have to do anything. I could be pulling my small group. I could be walking around and monitoring while my students are getting extra practice on what they missed. So it's using data immediately to have them practice. Pretty cool. Okay, this one, am I allowed to talk about this one, Mr. Acetos?
Yes, you can.
So this one is super cool because I know a lot of teachers were like, this is great. I love having fluency, but how about comprehension? And for a while we've been like, well, let's just stick with fluency and let's use something else for comprehension. But now we can actually add comprehension.
Microsoft listens to teachers.
They listen to teachers. And I'm like, wow. Okay, so not only am I going to be able to check fluency, I'm going to be able to check comprehension also. And I am in control here because I can add my own questions. Or I could generate questions. I'm going to click on this, Ricardo, and see what happens.
Go ahead.
So,
Ms. Fanny Melendez, this is your request. You kept asking for comprehension. Here it is.
It says, how many would I like? I'll just say 3. I know we had a teacher reach out to us. Was it yesterday or today? I don't remember. And I was like, it's coming. You'll see. And so
the comprehension where you write your own questions, it's already there. You might not have access to the general AI to be able to create the questions for you, but you do have the ability to now create your own questions.
Good warning. So for those of you who are following along with this right now, and you're like, why don't I have that option? It's coming soon. We're just giving you a heads up. But creating your own is already there. So you can create your own if you want. But we just wanted to show you this cool tool. So here it is. Multiple choice, true, false, open response, right? So you could add more. And very cool. And then if I'm satisfied with that, I'll go ahead and click on next, and then it will assign it to my student. And so that's usually how it begins. So Ricardo, did you want to pick up from there, or did you want me to demonstrate something else?
No, sure. I think you did mention already the tool that is coming soon. So I don't know if I should go into it, but the ability to use AI is pretty incredible, right? And Teresa basically showed you what that looks like. I love, again, the idea that when you create that new assignment and you go to learning, and I'll move quick through it, learning accelerators, and you go to reading progress, right? I just wanted to mention that, as Teresa mentioned, you have the ability to import from Word or PDF. So if someone is asking, can I do this in my Spanish class? Or can I do this in my Mandarin class? The answer is yes. If you import a Word document and you select that this Word document is in Spanish or in whatever language it is, reading progress is going to understand that, and the student can come in here and use Spanish. I have a friend that actually came to me and said, high school teacher, and he says, you're not going to believe this, but I actually use reading progress all the time in my history class. And I said, oh, how do you use it? And he said, if I make sure that the kids are reading the reading assignment for the day. So I put it in reading progress, and I actually can see that they completed the reading and that they actually are ready for my class. So being able to use that assignment just to make sure that the kids are actually completing the reading. That's it, the way he used it, right? So again, Teresa covered up this already, but I'll just say it. Notice that this is a class that has data, and I just wanted to mention this. So the data is telling me that the students in my class are having issues with this. These are the challenging words for my students: can't, earth, actions, being, and bright. Okay. So when I come in here and I pick that I'm going to use something about earth, right? Sixth grade, 100 words, and it's going to be in English. It could be any other language. But if I say that it's English, it's going to look at those challenging words and it's going to take those into account when it uses artificial intelligence. It's going to create that reading passage for me, and notice that those challenging words that my class is having as a whole have been included in the passage that artificial intelligence created. Pretty incredible. I think you also have the ability as a teacher to change the complexity. If you think it's too difficult or too easy, you can do that, right? And Teresa also mentioned and showed you how to now to add comprehension questions, which is pretty incredible to me. So we're super, super excited. We can show you the next feature of reading progress. We'll talk about it, but the ability to give student agency and choice. Reading progress is coming outside where the students are going to be able to select what the character they want it to be, the setting, the genre, and they are going to create their own stories to be able to use reading progress. Think about that, right? It's funny. I always have, we can show you today, but I always have like difficulty getting my daughter to read. And the moment I use that, I'm privileged to have access to it right now. And the moment I chose it, she was like, unicorn, castle, and she was reading and reading and reading. And now she was doing what the teacher was doing with reading progress in teams, but also having the ability to choose what she wanted to read. Yeah. And that was incredible, right? Because research shows that giving agency and giving choice and providing a personalized learning for our students is definitely the way to go. So pretty incredible. Hopefully for the next episode, we'll be able to show it, but we can show it today. But yeah, Teresa did assign something to me, I believe, and I'm going to find that class. So here it is, because we did want to make sure that you saw it from the student point of view. So I'm going to go to the assignment. So when students will come in here and they will click on the assignment, right? And it's going to open, and it's a big star, and I'm ready to open it. So I'm going to open it. And it's going to look for my camera, and I'm using a camera, so this is going to be tricky. Hopefully it works, but hopefully my other camera opens in here, and it might not. Yes, I don't think it's trying to find the camera, but I have a camera that is being used right now. But your camera should open, and your microphone should open too. And then as a student, you'll be able to start to read. And hopefully I don't know if I can go in here and turn my camera off so it recognizes it. Let me try this for a second.
So we're in suspense because Ricardo's trying to demonstrate how a student would do it, and he's juggling with one camera.
And also a microphone, right? So let's see. We're going to give him one more chance to see if it's going to work.
So when students open this, they just start, and then the words are there, and they simply just read. They don't have to worry about anything else.
So here it goes. I think it's just doing the same thing. It's picking up my camera, but it's not picking up my mic because I have my mic being used. But the students will be able to go in there and start working on it. I wonder if I can switch my mic over here. And it's trying to use the same mic, and that's why it's not working for me. Oh, we should have been ready. Let's see. I did submit one, Teresa. So you want to go to the one that I submitted so they can see what it looks like from the teacher's point of view? Yeah.
So here I am. I don't know if it picked up any words at that time, but it's okay. So are you sharing? Okay. So here I am. These are just the results of one of the readings, and you're not back yet, Mr. Examiners. You could turn your camera back on if you want. So it will tell me how many words, and it'll tell me which ones are mispronounced. Were mispronounced. Sorry, my English. Omissions. So you can see with this one, Ricardo was just playing around with it.
It was probably the mic. It was probably the mic, and it didn't work actually.
Every
Now that I
single
look
word
at it.
here. And then it tells me the accuracy rate, and you can have it where it's set so that students can actually see this at the end. But here's accuracy. You can even talk about expression. You can even see, are the kids reading with expression, or are they reading like robots? Isn't that amazing? You could also check on their comprehension as well at the end. So you could see how they answered the comprehension, or how you didn't answer these either.
No,
But great.
it was my daughter who was trying to do it, and I think again the microphone and the technology wasn't working. I mean, I almost didn't make it in today, did I? Here it goes. Actually, we can show it.
It wasn't
Actually,
about unicorns. That's why.
here it goes. Right. So now that I fixed my technology, right, the camera opens, the mic opens, and I can start as a student. I'm going to click. It gives them a countdown, and the students will start reading. And I'm actually going to pause it because people forget that we talked about immersive reader before. Our students do have the ability to use those tools inside of reading progress. If I wanted to make the text size bigger, and if I wanted to switch the font, and I wanted to change the color, I actually can do that. Okay, so
and
great
notice
tool
that
to
it's
have.
paused. It paused his reading so he could do this, and then once he's done with it, then it'll resume.
Because it does help our students, right? So it's such a great tool to be able to have. So now that I have it set up correctly, I can close it and I can start reading, right? And here it goes. What is big and bright? What gives Earth its light? The sun. The sun is the star that is closest to the Earth. It is a ball of water and gas. It gives Earth heat and light. Living things need heat and light. What would Earth be like without the sun, right? And if I wanted to do that, I'm done, right? It's going to look at it. And again, remember, Teresa gave me 2 attempts. So we tell our students, the first attempt, just try the technology, try to make sure the microphone is working, everything is working. You can play it and listen, and you can try again because we give you 2 attempts, right? But I'm going to use this recording, and I go ahead and turn it in. And we wanted to make sure you got to see this. So artificial intelligence listened to what I was reading, and now it says, okay, now here's the comprehension. Because Ms. Castro actually gave me comprehension question. So it says, what does the sun provide to Earth? And I wasn't paying attention probably, right? It's going to say energy. But notice immersive reader is right here for the students that need that support right there. I'm going to submit it. Okay, complete it. And notice what happens now.
Reading
it says,
coach.
now we're going to go to Reading Coach. And it's going to say, you as a student are going to open Reading Coach because Ms. Castro said Reading Coach is going to be part of my assignment. So now our students are going to open Reading Coach, and artificial intelligence inside of Reading Progress and Reading Coach told them which words I had trouble with. So I'm going to open it. And these are the words that I had trouble with. So now it's going
Next
to
step,
say,
practice. Select any word to keep building your skills.
so I can come on this, and you do have a say as teachers on what the students see and what they can do with each word.
When you're ready, press the microphone and read the word out loud.
And I can stretch the word if I wanted to. I can have a picture dictionary if the teacher allowed me to see that, but I can click on the microphone. Ball. And it's going to
Great reading. You got it.
There's Reading Coach. I'll go to the next word, right? I see the picture dictionary right here that she gave me, right? So it's right there for me, right? I can have it play for me.
Bright.
And I can say it. Bright. Right? And you will go through those words of our students without. And I'll just go through it, Teresa. Is that okay? So they see it?
So good.
Earth. And if I pronounce it wrong, it's going to water. Or if that's not
That's
quite
not
right.
quite it. Give it another try.
Fire.
Great reading today. You showed these challenging words. Who's boss?
I love it. Who's boss? So notice that now our students with reading coach, they got Reading Coach, Reading Progress, and Comprehension, right? So now Teresa, she went to see it from the teacher point of view. Hopefully the data is there already, Teresa. And I'm not sure if it's there or not if you wanted to look at it.
I'm reloading it right now to see if it will show up from my end.
Mm-hmm.
It's searching for it. All right.
You want to come back to it if it comes in?
Sure. Mm-hmm. I'll look for it. Go ahead. You can continue.
Yeah. So as Teresa's looking for it, our last learning accelerator, or our last part of today, it's the ability to use Math Coach. And again, this is going to come inside of Microsoft Teams with Math Progress and Math Coach. But we wanted to show it to you inside of OneNote. Okay, so inside of OneNote, I'm in here, and I can come in here, and I just have a tab open right now, or a page open. And notice that I can come and draw, okay? And I'm just going to use my pencil, and I'm just going to write a problem that I might not quite understand when it comes to math, right? So I'm going to do like 2 plus, I don't know, the question that was given, 5x equals, and I'm just going to say 12, okay? And now that I've done that, I can come in here and I can use the lasso to select all of it. I could have typed it too, but I'm just going to do it like this, okay? And notice that I have the ability to now use Math Assistant right here. So I'm going to click on it, and it's going to look at that, and it's going to say, okay, what was that you said? 2 plus 5x equals 12, okay? So it actually used Ink to Math. And now I have a couple of options right here. I actually have the ability to solve for x. So I'm going to actually ask it to solve it for me. And it's going to look at it, and it's going to say, well, the answer is x equals 2. And do you want me to show the steps to you? And I can say, I want you to show the steps to solving this linear equation. And I can look at it, and it's going to, again, our amazing friend over here, Immersive Reader, for that student that might need the instructions in Spanish, or that the parent is trying to support that student. It's going to say, this is how I did it. Subtract 2 from both sides, subtract 2 from 12, and it's showing it. And to me, my favorite tool inside of this is that, okay, so this is the concept my teacher is trying to teach me, or for me to learn. Notice what it did. It says, do you want to generate a practice quiz based on that concept that you're learning? So I can come in here and click on it, and it's going to say, okay, well, how many questions would you like? So it's using Microsoft Forms, and I'm going to have to sign in. Sorry about that. It should have been signed in, but I'm not. And it's going to say, how many questions would you like that are going to be similar to that? I'm going to say 3 questions, and it's going to generate it. And now, as a student, I get to actually practice that same concept with these questions that were created with artificial intelligence for me to practice that same idea. And again, notice Immersive Reader is right here, and I'm able to complete this right on the spot. Pretty incredible. So again, the ability to have.
You know, I was helping my daughter with her homework. She's in middle school, and I kind of forgot how to do some of that type of math. And this has helped me so much. I put her equations in here, and I learned the steps and kind of relearn how to do it. And so I'm able to assist her. So I'm helping those families as well.
And you, as a teacher, when you create the class notebooks using OneNote, have the ability to turn it off too. So it's not something that is going to be available all the time. If you decide to turn it off, you can turn that off for our students. But just such a great tool to be able to use, right? Do you want to go back to reading progress and reading coach?
I think our time's up, but I just want to show them really quick.
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead.
Here we are. So he finished it. And so here, you remember he was talking a lot before the reading started. So it says insertions here. So I could literally click on any of those mistakes, and I could jump to the word, and it will go to the video and show me where he said it so I could hear it. Because sometimes you're like, oh, I think you might have said it right. So I can go here. I could jump to the word and actually hear how it sounds. So I can be like, oh no, that's actually correct. You know, so, or no, that wasn't good. So it has the expression also, and then also the comprehension as well that I can check. So again, you saw him do it just a matter of minutes, probably 1 or 2 minutes, because he was also talking at the same time. And imagine your whole class of 20 something doing this at the exact same time. And at the end, you're getting all of this feedback. And while they're finishing early, your kids are practicing with Reading Coach. So pretty amazing tool. And again, we can go on and on, but we have met exactly 6:30 right now to honor everyone's time. But we will be coming back for these tools. And if you're curious, please let us know. You can email us, you can message us, and we will gladly, by special request, cover any of these topics individually.
And again, we are looking forward to moving on with this series. We're going to be looking into future-ready skills and talking about some other amazing learning accelerators inside of Microsoft Teams.
All right. Thank you, guys. We all see you on our next episode. Bye.
Bye.